Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment, which told you to consider the following statements about India International Science Festival. It was launched in 2019 to engage the public with science. It is organized by the Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Sciences. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, or D neither 1 nor 2. I hope you have answered it correctly in the comment segment. The correct answer for this question is B, that is 2 only. Only the second statement is correct. Let's move on to the explanation, which says that the 6th India International Science Festival is to be held virtually, and it was launched in the year 2015 to promote science and technology and demonstrate how science could lead India towards becoming a more developed nation within a very short span of time. If we talk about the aim is to engage the public with science and celebrate the various joys of science and show the ways how science, technology, engineering and mathematics could provide solutions to improve people's lives in general. Moving on, if we talk about the organizing agencies, Ministry of Science and Technology with Ministry of Earth Sciences and in association with Vijnan Bharati are to be organizing this festival this year, and the theme is Science for Self-Reliant India and Global Welfare. Moving on to the first question of today's segment. Who of the following is the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for 2020? A. Abiy Ahmed Ali, B. World Food Programme, C. UNICEF, or D. Amartya Sen? I hope you will be able to answer it correctly, and I hope you have now. The correct answer for this question is B, that is World Food Programme. Let's move on to the explanation. The 2020 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to the World Food Programme, which is a United Nations agency for its efforts in combating hunger and as well as bettering conditions for peace in conflict-infested areas and preventing the use of hunger as a weapon and conflicts in the areas of war and conflicts. It was established in the year 1961 by the Food and Agricultural Organization and the United Nations General Assembly and became a full-fledged member of the UN program in the year 1965. If we talk about its headquarters, it is situated in Rome, Italy. Alright, moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Article 76 of the Constitution provides for the office of the Attorney General of India. The tenure of AG is fixed by the Constitution. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. So I hope you will be able to answer it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A, that is 1 only. Only the first statement is correct, that Article 76 provides for it, right? Moving on to the explanation, it says that the Attorney General of India is provided for, who is a part of the Union Executive, is provided for under Article 76, and his role is to advise the Government of India upon such legal matters which are referred to her or him by the President of India, and Article 76 provides for the office of AG. Alright, and he is the highest law officer in the country. The highest law officer, the Attorney General in the Article 76. If we talk about appointment and eligibility, AG is appointed by the President on the advice of the government, and she or he must be a person who is qualified enough to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court. Term of the office, if we talk about, it is not fixed by the Constitution, and procedures and grounds for the removal of AG are also not mentioned in the Constitution, and he or she holds the office during the pleasure of the President, right? Moving on. Let's look at our next question, which says, which of the following statements is or are correct about merchant discount rate? The merchant discount rate is expressed in percentage of the transaction amount. Second, It is not applicable for online transactions and QR-based transactions. Look through these statements very attentively. Select the correct answer using code given below. A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A1 only. Only the first statement is correct. Moving on to the explanation. The merchant discount rate is the cost which is paid by a merchant to a bank. It is paid by a merchant to a bank. Why? For accepting payment from their customers via digital means. Alright? Again, it is paid by a merchant to a bank. Why? For accepting payment via digital means. And the merchant discount rate is expressed in the percentage of the transaction made. Presently, it is applicable for online transaction and QR-based transaction. And moving on, the amount that the merchant pays for every transaction get distributed in 3 sections. The first is the bank that enables the transaction. The second is the vendor that stalls the point of sale machine. The point of sale machine has been stalled by a vendor. The person also gets that. And the card network provider such as Visa and MasterCard or RuPay. Alright. So the bank which enables the payment, the vendor who installs the point of sale machine, and third is the enabler, the card enabler like Visa or MasterCard or RuPay. Right? Moving on, let's look at our next question which says, Vadati-Benioff zone, recently seen in the news, is associated with which of the following? A. Earthquake, B. Hurricane, C. Western disturbances, or D. Monsoon. I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A, that is earthquake. So if we talk about it, Vadati-Benioff zone, deep earthquakes 300 to 700 kilometers are produced in this particular zone, and it is a zone of subduction. That means one plate is subsiding and going under another plate, along which earthquakes are common. Of course, the plates are getting disturbed, which are produced by the interaction of downgoing oceanic crusted plate against the continental plate. Look at this diagram. Now, because this is heavier in nature, the oceanic plate, it will go down. And this is the Benioff zone. This is the continental plate, right? So that is why the plates are getting disturbed, and then what happens? Earthquakes arise. So some of the most powerful earthquakes, of course, some of the most powerful earthquakes arise in this particular region. These earthquakes can be produced by slip along the subduction thrust fault or by slip on faults within the downgoing plates, that the plate is pulled into the mantle. It's pulled into the mantle. Alright. Moving on. Let's look at our next question which says, National Investigation Agency is under the aegis of A. Ministry of Home Affairs, B. Ministry of Personnel and Training, C. Prime Minister's Office, or D. Ministry of Defense. So it investigates, that means it takes care of the internal security of the country. Logically, it should come under then which ministry? I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. Of course, the National Investigation Agency was constituted under the National Investigation Agency Act of 2008. And it works under the aegis of Ministry of Home Affairs. Logically, very important this question. It is a central agency to investigate as well as prosecute officers affecting the sovereignty, security and integrity of India, security of states' friendly relation with other foreign states as well. Also, against atomic and nuclear facilities, keep these two in mind. Against atomic and nuclear facilities, of course, and smuggling in high quality counterfeit Indian currency. Also, it implements international treaties, agreements, conventions, and resolutions of the United Nations, its agencies, and other international organizations. Its objective is also to combat terror in India, and it acts as a central counter-terrorism law enforcement agency, right? Headquartered at New Delhi, but it has other branches at Hyderabad, Guwahati, Kochi, Lucknow, Mumbai, Kolkata, Raipur and Jammu. Okay, let's move on and look at our next question, which says, which of the following is expected when the RBI slashes its repo rate? First, lowering of interest rates charged on loans by banks. Second, increase in money supply in the market. Now, select the correct answer using code given below. A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, or D neither 1 nor 2. Think through. I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is C, that is B both, C both 1 and 2. Both of these statements are correct. So let's move on to the explanation, which says, tells you what is repo rate. Repo rate is the rate at which the central bank of a country lends money. It lends money to the commercial bank in the event of any shortfall of funds. Of course, it will lend the money to the commercial bank at certain rate in case there is a shortfall. And it is used by monetary authorities to control inflation. Okay, in the event of inflation, central bank increases the repo rate. Why? As this will act as a disincentive for the banks to borrow money from RBI. If it will increase the repo rate, the banks will not take it, and in that case what will happen? The general populace will not get loans at very attractive interest rates. Then it will cause lack of liquidity in the market. Alright, so that ultimately reduces the money supply in the economy and thus helps in controlling inflation. Also, a decrease in repo rate increases the money supply, and in the market the central bank takes the contrary position when in the event of a fall in inflationary pressure. It will decrease the repo rate, right? Let's move on and talk about it, that ideally a low repo rate should always translate into low cost loans for the general public. When the RBI slashes its repo rate, it expects the banks to lower the interest rates that is charged on the loans. Okay, so let's move forward and look at our next question, which says, consider the following statements with reference to Honey Mission. The Honey Mission, launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs 3 years ago, it aims at creating employment for farmers, Adivasis, women and unemployed youth. Under this, the implementing agency provides training and 10 bee boxes with live colonies to beneficiaries including farmers, beekeepers and unemployed youth. So look through these statements first. Let's move on to the options which tell you which of the statements given above are correct. A1 and 2 only, B2 and 3 only, C1 and 3 only, or D 1, 2 and 3. I hope you have thought it through. Look at the statements once more. Okay, let's move on. The correct answer for this question is B, that is 2 and 3 only. 2 and 3 only. Only the second and the third statements are correct. Now, moving on to the explanation. The Honey Mission, which was launched by the Khadi and Village Industries Corporation 3 years, Commission, beg your pardon, 3 years ago, KVIC, and it aims at creating employment for Adivasis, farmers, women and unemployed youth by roping them with beekeeping and increasing honey production for India. And under the Honey Mission, KVIC provides training and 10 bee boxes with live colonies to beneficiaries including farmers, beekeepers and unemployed youth. KVIC also runs beekeeping training program and courses. Now, the distressed migrant workers who were engaged with KVIC's Honey Mission in Uttar Pradesh in the month of August have reaped their first honey harvest and are awaiting a bumper yield in the months from December to the month of March. Okay, moving on, let's talk about our next question, which tells you, consider the following statements with reference to Roshni Act, Jammu and Kashmir. First, it was passed by the then National Conference government to give ownership to people in possession of state land and with the cutoff of 1990. Second, since the aim was to generate resources for hydroelectric power projects, it was called Roshni or the Light Act. We talked about it in one of our GK segments previously, so you revise it through this particular question here now. Let's look at the options. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 nor 2. Look at the statements once more. I hope you have thought it through. Revision is the key to crack prelims. So, the correct answer for this question is C, that is both 1 and 2. Both these statements are correct. Moving on to the explanation. Now, following a recent order which was passed by the Jammu and Kashmir High Court, the administration has annulled this act. It was earlier repealed and decided to retrieve land transferred under the Roshni scheme. Now, finally, the Jammu and Kashmir state land vesting of ownership to the occupant Act of 2001 or the Roshni Act was passed by the National Conference government to give ownership to the people in possession of the state land with a cutoff of 1919 and as against a payment as determined by the government. Since the aim was to generate resources for hydroelectric power projects, that is why it is came to be known as Roshni or the Light Act. Okay, moving forward, let's look at our next question. The cyclonic storm Burevi, recently seen in the news, is brewing in Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, Andaman Sea, or none of the above. Second cyclonic storm after Nivar to hit the southern region. The correct answer for this question is A, that is Bay of Bengal. Now, the Indian Meteorological Department has announced that a cyclone is brewing in the Bay of Bengal is likely to affect Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and it is less than a week after Nivar wreaked havoc in the entire southern region. Also, if we talk about it, the cyclone will cross Sri Lanka coast on December 2nd and bring heavy rainfall over Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Alright? And also, if we talk about our next question, this comes. The term XP100 recently seen in news is related to A, Indian Railway, B, electric vehicles, C, Indian Oil Corporation, or D, smog and pollution. XP100 related to which of these following? Indian Railway, electric vehicles, Indian Oil Corporation, or smog and pollution. The correct answer for this question is C, that is Indian Oil Corporation. Let's move on to the explanation. Now, Indian Oil Corporation recently launched a new premium grade petrol, Octane 100, with Octane 100 and branded as XP100, its name. The premium grade petrol was launched in 10 cities by Dharmendra Pradhan, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The technology for India's first octane petrol has been indigenously developed, and by which organization? By the Indian Oil Research and Development. Alright. Also, the availability of XP100 puts India at the elite group of having access to such high quality of oil, and the petrol will provide high quality and power to the engine. High quality and power to the engine. And the Indian Oil Corporation plans to roll out XP100 premium grade petrol in 15 more cities across the country. In how many phases? 2 phases. Okay. Let's look at the practice question for our next segment, which says, Consider the following statements with reference to Singapore Convention on Mediation. First, it will provide a more effective way for enforcing mediated settlements of corporate disputes involving businesses in India and other countries. Second, it is also known as the United Nations Convention on International Settlement Agreements resulting from mediation. So, I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment as you always do. That's it for today. I will turn up again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.